Almost exactly 4 years ago today, we invested £60,000 into our first renovation project together. And today we got confirmation of our new mortgage, which means that we're going to be getting the £60,000 that we invested back into our account, as well as leaving £100,000 in the property and still owning it as an income generating asset. So here is how we got a property for free. We've lived at home and rented various different properties our entire lives, so we've always been very keen to try and buy something. But we don't work in finance, so it seemed impossible to find something that we could afford and add value to. So we started to look around Hertfordshire, where we could afford way more space, and found this probate property, a semi-detached, 4-bedroom ex-council house with a garden, which was on the market for just £340,000. It does need a lot of work, but it just felt so much bigger and better than anything that we could afford in London, and again, we wanted to be able to work and add value. When we looked at sales prices in the area for similar properties, they were quite a lot higher than the asking price. So when we plumbed the details into the calculator, we saw that there could be really good profit in the deal. So if you're earning between £20,000 to £40,000 and you're thinking it's impossible to buy a property alone, it's not, but it will be tough. So the first game-changing piece of knowledge was build a team. You can have up to 4 people on a mortgage. You can combine your salaries and borrow more. And you'll of course have your combined knowledge, time and expertise. So we pulled together our money, invested in some courses, and armed with our phone books, YouTube, some basic tools, and Martin, Erin's dad, who was our guru and mentor, we went for it. So back to the property. When you look at the layout, you can see that there's this dining room lounge area and a separate kitchen. And if you can add a bedroom to a property, it's a pretty certain way to increase its value. So we thought we could move the kitchen and put an ensuite bedroom there instead. We also thought if we plugged these 2 doorways, changing the flow of the property, it would give the feeling of more space without doing any major structural work, and it did. The second piece of knowledge was that you make your money when you buy, not when you sell. You never really know how low the seller is willing to go until you ask. So we went in with an offer of £295,000, £45,000 under the asking price. You're probably thinking, these guys are mad, but they counter offered £300,000. So when we immediately accepted, we didn't celebrate at all. But when we got the keys, now that we were in, we could start gutting the place. We tried to save and recycle as much as we could, so we were able to reuse the old kitchen tiles in the bathroom and managed to save and reuse a lot of skirting board. We removed an entire cupboard from one of the rooms upstairs, found an old mummified wasp's nest in the old kitchen vent, and we sanded and repainted the existing staircase. We also painted the entire house, which took about 3 weeks because we used the cheapest emulsion paint there is. So if you're going to paint and you have a bit more budget, use Dulux Super Matte. It is worth every penny. And you can really just see why people will spend like £3,000 to £4,000 on painters and decorators. It is long. One of our most successful money-saving schemes was our kitchen. We built it from flat pack. Assembling a kitchen is not the easiest thing, but the alternative was £1,500 for it to come assembled and £1,500 for it to be installed. We backed ourselves and know a decent carpenter, so saved £3,000 from the jump. Also, make sure you buy anything you can using a trade account and you will save a lot of money, but you will need to have a registered business. So in total, our kitchen could have costed us around £15,000 with installation, but we got it for under £5,000. Now this was also because we had a friend that happened to work at Magnet and for doing the installation ourselves, but £10,000 we saved, nearly a third of our budget. So number 3 is take some things on, feel uncomfortable and push yourself a bit. You can save a lot of money and learn something in the process. You can often mess things up 2 or 3 times and still save money. And I guess the kind of second lesson from that is build a network, use your friends, use your family. If you know people that are in trades or have done similar things and you can get recommendations or discounts, do it. The cost of the flooring was £500 plus the underlay, which was £300. You can easily spend double that on installation, so we were pretty happy with this cost. We were also pretty nervous to take this on. You think it's going to be like a big puzzle, but it's not. Once we got the hang of it, it was all right. And once we got it in, it made a huge difference and it just looks beautiful. If you are going to do flooring, then 100% get yourself a multi-tool for hard to cut places. To plug the old doorways and build the ensuite, we learned to build stud walls, which Martin helped us a lot with again. All you have to do is build the frame out of timber, fix, insulate and cover with plasterboard. We'll make a video on this. Make sure you plan where the bathroom furniture is going to go, as you want to ensure that you have supporting wood for any areas that you're going to hang things on. For example, a mirror, some shelves, or even the shower unit itself. For the shower, you do have to use a different type of waterproof plasterboard, as well as waterproof paint, known as tanking. This is the process of applying silicone paint to all joins and areas that could potentially absorb liquid or tiling. For the electrics, we had a lot of advice from Erin's brother, who is a commercial electrician, and another friend of ours who's a residential electrician, who came in and did all of the wiring and fuse board upgrade. We installed spotlights throughout the downstairs area. Spotlights are great because our ceilings aren't the highest and they make the rooms look bigger. To reduce costs, we helped with basic labour, chasing walls and pulling up floors, so he could do all the clever stuff. The rewiring also meant that we could install a socket for the TV on the wall, which was a big deal for us. The plumbing and electrical fittings are like the veins of the body. Without this, you have nothing but a shell. All of this is done when the walls are cut back to brick and known as the first fix. If you haven't cut back to brick or removed carpets to get to the floorboards, you can surface mount pipes. This is actually how the house came, but wasn't the finish that we were after. The second fix can then be started when plastering is complete. And to complete the plastering, you need to make sure the electrics and plumbing are installed. So at this point, the project is like a game of Tetris. One trade can't start until the other has finished, and dried in most cases. Remember that in carpeted rooms, have the skirting board fixed and painted before the installation of the carpets. And on hard floor, if you have gone back to brick, it is much better to paint the walls, lay the floor, and then fit the pre-painted skirting. This is again because of the finish that we wanted, but you can lay hard flooring after skirting board has been fitted. But if you're unable to tuck the boards under the skirting board and you have to butt up against them, it's essential to leave an expansion gap, as changes in temperature cause the floorboards to expand and contract. So without this gap, you risk cracking or warping or distortion. You then have to fit beading to cover the gap, and we don't really like this, so yeah, we fitted the floors first and then the skirting board. Even though we had to do the dishes in the bath for a while, we could now move in and get the house finished and ready for lodgers. We filled the rooms pretty quickly, which brought each of our monthly rents from around £800 in London to roughly £150 each. But how did we get the money out? It's now 4 years on and the property has been valued at £425,000. So this is how it works. We initially borrowed £270,000 plus the £30,000 deposit. In the 4 years since we bought, through our monthly payments, we've paid off £20,000, leaving the mortgage debt sitting at £250,000 plus £50,000 cash. So when you add the £125,000 increase in value, there is £175,000 cash in the property. So we were able to take out a new mortgage of £315,000, which pays off the previous loan at £250,000 with a remainder of £65,000, coming straight back into our accounts, which we'll be putting towards the next project. Hopefully that makes sense. Please do leave a comment if you've got any more questions about this. So this is the first property that we have renovated with no experience and is definitely the best financial decision we've ever made. It changed our lives and the lives of our family. After this project, we were able to do the same thing for our mum and stepdad, and it kick-started our property development business together. This channel is an extension of that. We believe that anyone can build wealth through property. So while we're giving it a go, we're going to document what we learn and hopefully it helps someone.